Boa Constrictor Coils around baby Mustang horse. What happens next will shock you. The forest was alive, yet it held a deep, quiet stillness. Early morning sunlight filtered gently through the canopy of towering trees, casting long, soft shadows on the forest floor. The air was crisp with a hint of damp earth, and a cool breeze whispered through the leaves, rustling them just enough to create a peaceful melody. Everything about the wilderness seemed perfect in this moment, a picture of calm and beauty. Among the brush and tall grass, a baby Mustang stood, its tiny hooves barely making a sound on the earth beneath it. The young horse, no more than a few months old, had a shiny coat of deep brown with a white star on its forehead. It was a creature of pure innocence, curious and eager to explore its new world. Its wide eyes sparkled with wonder as it nibbled on the grass, blissfully unaware of the danger that lurked nearby. The young Mustang took a few hesitant steps, its small legs unsteady, but full of determination. The world felt endless for the baby horse, and every leaf and pebble it encountered was a new discovery. As it ventured deeper into the forest clearing, it found a patch of wildflowers, which it sniffed, marveling at their scent. A light breeze carried the sweet fragrance of pine needles and blooming flowers. It was, for all intents and purposes, a perfect moment, peaceful and safe. But little did the Mustang know, a life-or-death battle was about to unfold, hidden beneath the beauty of the wilderness. But deep in the shadows, a predator lay waiting. The air around the young horse, so calm and gentle just moments before, would soon be charged with tension, as danger crept closer unseen. What was about to happen next would change the Mustang's life forever, and leave the world shocked by the raw power of nature. The serenity of the moment was about to be broken by something much darker, something that moved like a shadow. A giant boa constrictor, its scales gleaming with dark, muted greens and browns, lay hidden in the undergrowth. Its body coiled in perfect silence, undetectable against the forest floor. The snake's long, powerful body blended seamlessly with the dead leaves and thick roots, making it almost impossible to spot. The boa constrictor had been watching the Mustang for hours, its sharp, unblinking eyes never straying from its prey. Patient, still, and waiting for the perfect moment to strike, it held its position, barely moving as it tracked the baby horse's every step. Its muscles tensed with readiness, its breath steady and controlled, as though the snake were holding its own breath in preparation. It could feel the warmth of the Mustang's body through the air, a signal that its time was coming. The boa constrictor's tongue flicked out occasionally, tasting the air, sensing the Mustang's every movement. Its instincts were razor-sharp, honed over years of surviving in this unforgiving world. The snake knew exactly when to strike. It didn't need to rush. The young Mustang's curiosity would lead it right to the trap. The baby Mustang took another step forward, unaware that it was getting closer to its fate. It glanced around, its ears flicking nervously as a small branch snapped behind it. Something didn't feel right, but it couldn't put its hoof on it. The young horse paused for a brief moment, looking around with wide, innocent eyes, feeling the unsettling shift in the air. But it was too late. In the blink of an eye, the predator would act. The predator, still hidden from view, was ready. It had been preparing for this moment its whole life. Now, the young Mustang would have to face its most terrifying challenge, survival against an enemy that moved with the deadly precision of nature's oldest hunters. Without warning, the serenity of the forest shattered. The once peaceful air grew tense, filled with the feeling of impending danger. The baby Mustang, still unaware, took another step forward, its tiny hooves crunching softly against the earth. It was just a few more steps from the safety of the trees, a few more moments before it would reach the edge of the clearing. And then, in an instant, the silence was broken by the rapid hiss of the boa constrictor. This massive, powerful body surged forward, striking with shocking speed. The snake's jaws opened wide, but instead of striking with its fangs, it lunged with a different kind of weapon, its thick, coiling body. In one swift motion, the boa's muscular coils wrapped tightly around the Mustang's midsection. The young horse was caught off guard, its instincts screaming, but too slow to react. The boa constrictor's grip was like iron, its body a vice that tightened with every breath the baby Mustang took. The force was overwhelming, suffocating. It was the raw power of nature in its most brutal form, and the young horse was trapped in the relentless, crushing embrace of a predator much older and much stronger. The Mustang struggled, its legs kicking and hooves flailing in desperation, trying to break free from the serpent's grip. But with each movement, the snake tightened its hold even more. The boa's coils moved swiftly, wrapping around the horse's body, restricting its movements, compressing its chest and ribcage. The pressure was unbearable, and the baby Mustang could feel the life being squeezed out of it with every passing second. The young Mustang's heart raced, pounding in its chest like a drum. Panic set in as it struggled to break free, but the snake's grip was relentless. The boa constrictor wasn't just squeezing its prey, it was suffocating it, slowly and methodically. With every desperate kick of its legs, the Mustang's strength began to fade. Its once bright eyes now wide with fear, the baby horse fought against the inevitable. But even in the face of such overwhelming force, the Mustang did not give up. It bucked and thrashed with everything it had left, its small body shaking with effort. Its hooves scraped against the ground, searching for something, anything, to push against, but the earth was too soft and loose beneath it. For a brief moment, the baby Mustang was able to twist its body, and with one final, desperate push, it managed to shift the boa's coils just enough to give itself a brief moment of freedom. It took a deep, frantic breath, the oxygen flooding its lungs, and gathered every last ounce of strength to try and escape. But the boa constrictor was not going to let go so easily. As the Mustang twisted and turned, the snake's grip tightened once again, its coils adjusting with terrifying precision. Every movement the baby Mustang made was met with a deadly response, the boa squeezing harder, cutting off its air supply, squeezing the life out of it. It was a battle for survival, one that neither side could afford to lose. The baby Mustang's survival instincts kicked into overdrive, as it fought for every precious second. But the odds were stacked against it. The snake was a seasoned predator, and the young horse was no match for its strength and cunning. Would it be enough to escape the boa's unyielding hold? Or was this the end for the innocent baby Mustang? Just when it seemed like the battle was lost, the world around the baby Mustang seemed to shift. The struggle between the young horse and the boa constrictor reached its peak, with the Mustang growing weaker by the second. It was moments away from losing its fight for survival. As the snake's coils constricted tighter with each breath the Mustang managed to take. But then, as if the forces of nature themselves had intervened, a sudden movement in the underbrush caught the Mustang's attention. From the thick shadows, a figure emerged. Unexpected, yet undeniably fierce. It was a wild stallion, a lone protector of the land, with a dark, majestic coat that shimmered under the dappled sunlight. His eyes, sharp and full of determination, locked onto the struggle taking place before him. The stallion had been wandering the forest when he heard the desperate cries of the young Mustang, its muffled whinnies barely rising above the cacophony of nature's sounds. Instinctively, he knew something was wrong. He wasn't going to let another animal suffer, not on his watch. With powerful hoofs pounding against the earth, the wild stallion charged forward, his muscular frame moving like a shadow across the forest floor. The snake, too absorbed in its prey, didn't notice the oncoming danger until it was too late. The wild stallion was upon them, and there was no turning back. In one swift, forceful kick, the stallion struck the boa constrictor. The snake recoiled in pain, momentarily losing its grip on the baby Mustang. The Mustang, gasping for air, felt the life-giving oxygen return to its lungs, but the battle was far from over. The boa hissed and writhed, its angry coils shifting, ready to strike again. But the wild stallion wasn't finished yet. He wasn't going to let the snake claim another life on this day. With the snake momentarily distracted by the stallion's attack, the baby Mustang took a staggering, desperate step back. Its legs trembled under the weight of its exhaustion, but somehow the adrenaline was pushing it forward. The wild stallion had bought it just enough time to gather the strength to stand. The baby Mustang was barely able to keep its footing, but with its heart pounding and a spark of hope igniting inside, it instinctively took a few more steps, away from the boa's crushing grip. The stallion stood tall, muscles rippling with energy, his eyes locked on the boa constrictor as it regained its footing. But this time, the snake wasn't facing just one foe. It was facing a creature as wild, strong, and determined as it was. The wild stallion stomped the ground with his powerful hooves, challenging the snake to come closer. His stance was steady, his head held high, and his nostrils flared in defiance. The boa constrictor, now aware of the threat the stallion posed, hissed in frustration. It was used to having its way, overpowering prey without resistance. But this was different. The stallion wasn't backing down. The snake lunged toward the Mustang, but the wild stallion was faster. With a decisive movement, he kicked out again, landing another powerful blow on the snake. This time, the boa recoiled, its coils loosening for good. In a final act of defiance, the boa constrictor slithered backward, retreating into the depths of the forest. It was clear, the stallion had won, and the young Mustang's life had been saved. The air was still, and the silence that followed was nothing short of profound. The wild stallion stood protectively beside the baby Mustang, his large, steady presence offering a sense of security and peace. For the first time in what felt like hours, the baby Mustang felt the safety of being free from the snake's deadly grasp. Its breaths came easier now, and the exhaustion that weighed on its body seemed a little lighter. It looked up at the wild stallion, who seemed to give a silent nod of reassurance. The baby Mustang wasn't alone anymore. With the threat of the boa constrictor now a distant memory, the forest was silent once again. The wild stallion stood steadfastly beside the young Mustang, his presence a reminder of the incredible power of nature and the importance of resilience. The baby Mustang, trembling but alive, slowly gathered its strength. Its muscles ached, its legs wobbled beneath it, but it had made it. It had survived the unimaginable. The stallion, with a gentle nudge of his head, encouraged the Mustang to take another step. The baby horse hesitated at first, its body still exhausted, its mind racing with the trauma of the recent struggle. But the wild stallion's calm demeanor, his quiet strength, spoke louder than words. Step by step, the baby Mustang began to move again. With each step, it regained a small piece of its confidence. The air, once suffocating with fear, now felt fresh with the promise of survival. The young horse, despite its earlier struggles, now stood tall, walking alongside the wild stallion as if they had always been a pair. It was a moment of triumph, not just over the boa constrictor, but over the fear, the pain, and the sense of helplessness that had threatened to take away its life. The Mustang had faced the ultimate test of survival, and it had prevailed. Its journey, while just beginning, was now one of strength, endurance, and hope. As the two horses wandered deeper into the safety of the forest, the baby Mustang seemed to regain its energy, its head held high, its steps steady. Freedom had been regained, not only from the snake, but from the fear that had once held it back. The wild stallion, its protector and guide, was with it every step of the way. Together, they were a team stronger than ever before. As the wild stallion and the baby Mustang continued their journey, a quiet moment passed between them. The forest around them was peaceful, but the young Mustang had been through something life-changing. It had learned the true meaning of survival, the power of resilience, and the bond that can form between two very different creatures when the stakes are high. The baby Mustang looked around, its heart swelling with gratitude for the wild stallion's intervention. It wasn't just the snake that it had overcome. It was the fear that had gripped its heart, the belief that it might not make it, that kept it from fighting for its life until the very end. But thanks to the wild stallion, the Mustang was not just alive. It was stronger, braver, and more determined than it had ever been. The Mustang's journey was far from over, but it had learned one of life's most important lessons. No matter how big the struggle, no matter how overwhelming the odds, resilience and the will to survive can lead to triumph. It was a lesson that would shape the Mustang for the rest of its life. Together, The two horses walked side by side, ready for whatever the world would throw their way. The forest was full of challenges, but now, the baby Mustang knew that with strength, courage, and the support of others, there was nothing it couldn't overcome. The struggle was part of the journey, but it was the victory that mattered most. The battle between life and death, predator and prey, is a constant and unyielding force in nature. It is a world where survival is never guaranteed, and every day brings new challenges, unexpected dangers, and unforeseen alliances. The baby Mustang's harrowing encounter with the boa constrictor was a stark reminder of nature's duality. The delicate balance between destruction and creation, fear and bravery, weakness and strength. But as the young Mustang walks side by side with the wild stallion, it becomes clear that nature's harshness is only one side of the story. The other side is compassion, resilience, and the unexpected bonds that form when we need them most. It's a reminder that in the wildest moments of struggle, we sometimes find the greatest moments of hope and connection. The Mustang's story is not just one of survival. It's a story of how nature can be both a relentless force and a nurturing guide, and how, through perseverance, we can endure even the most unimaginable challenges. It's in those moments of crisis that the beauty of life reveals itself, showing us that even in the darkest of times, there is light to be found. As the wild stallion and the baby Mustang disappear into the embrace of the forest, their future remains uncertain, yet full of possibility. The Mustang has learned, in the most profound way, that survival is not just about physical strength. It's about the will to keep going no matter the odds. And with the wild stallion as its guide, the baby Mustang has discovered something even more powerful. The strength found in friendship, in protection, and in the unwavering support of others. In the vast wilderness, where every creature must fend for itself, the Mustang now knows it is never truly alone. It has witnessed the power of resilience, the power of nature to heal, and the undeniable truth that hope is never lost as long as there is a will to survive. The lesson of the Mustang and the wild stallion is one that resonates beyond the forest. It reminds us all, no matter the struggles we face, that there is always a way forward. The strength to overcome hardship lies not just in ourselves, but in the connections we make, the help we give, and the support we receive from others along the way. What did you think of this incredible survival story? Do you believe the bond between the wild stallion and the baby Mustang played a key role in the Mustang's survival? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. If you found this story inspiring, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you can follow along with more jaw-dropping stories like this one. Where are you watching from? Let us know in the comments. And remember, in the toughest moments, resilience and hope are often our greatest allies.